Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello to you and welcome back to the channel, especially you early and regular viewers who might actually recognise the car that is behind me. 4 years ago, I was here at the Dubai Motor Show and took a video with this car, the prototype Devel 16, a car that claimed 5,000 horsepower from a V16 and a top speed of 560 kilometers an hour. That's 350 miles per hour. Well, that was the prototype. Devel are back here at this year's Dubai Motor Show, and we're going to take a look at not one, but two cars that they are showing. And believe me, you're going to want to see these. Now, the car that's behind me here is the very car that I filmed 4 years ago. Admittedly, it's had a respray since then. It's a slightly different colour, but that is the one that featured in a video that now has 8 million views on YouTube. And a lot of you asking, is this actually possible? Can a car really have 5,000 horsepower? And I'm going to touch more on that later on. But first, let's head and take a look at the two new cars to show you here. Well, that's the prototype Devel 16. One is going to be the new Devel 16. The other, right in front of me, is the six-wheeled beastly Devel 60. This thing is just crazy. Six-wheeler, full off-roader. It looks like, well, something out of RoboCop when we come round to the front of it. I'm going to come back and show you around this and a little bit more about it shortly. That's prototype at the moment, but just look at that thing. Anyway, let's get to the main highlight of the show, the Devel 16, the new look of the two cars that we can take a walk around right now and explain how this works and how this has a 12.3 litre V16 quad turbocharged 5,000 horsepower engine in the back. Now, the first big thing to talk about is this is about straight line. This is very much akin to a dragster. Really long wheelbase, as you can see. The wheels right at the back, right at the front. It has those crazy, almost turbine-like exhausts at the rear. It swoops around. It's really quite interesting the way it's packaged like that. And then we come around towards the front, which is of course the most distinct image from the car, and you can see lots of familiarities from the Devel 16 prototype that we saw before. Again, reminded, up to 5,000 horsepower, and it wears those badges to let us know that it has a V16. A V16, a 12.3 litre V16. So look at it. It's low, it's long. It's kind of cool in the way it's designed. It's very, very crazy, eccentric, no question about that. Let's head from this car over to take a look at the other one in the pearl white with the blue contrasting against that. So who knows what speed it could theoretically reach, but in a straight line, it can potentially have, in the top version, the 5,000 horsepower. Now, there will be 3 different versions of the car in theory that will go into build. One with 2,000 horsepower for the road, one with 3,000 horsepower for the road, and then 5,000 horsepower only, reserved exclusively to go to the racetrack. And that kind of makes sense because 5,000 horsepower is a crazy, crazy figure. So somewhere in the back of there is the engine, the power unit. There is an active aerodynamic wing that will raise up out of the back, although quite small, I think, given the overall scale and size of the actual car. The way it wraps around is really quite fascinating and crazy in the design, but massively moved on from the first prototype. You can see all sorts of intakes and ducts for cooling. You have the, I'm not quite sure exactly what to call them, but the strong lines over the roof that are no doubt for control and keeping the car completely straight and glued down. And then around the front, massive front splitter right down to the ground, very, very low, all about downforce at that kind of high speed and what this thing's going to be going up to. So the engine is American, the design and body is going to be built in Italy, the same place that the new Apollo IE is also built by Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus in Turin. So that gives a little bit of credibility to the realism and possibilities of actually managing this and making it and creating it. Just coming around the other side, I can only imagine there are some very, very wide tyres that will be in there to make it possible. Devel 16. Just look at look at this. You could. It's not about sticking your hand in. You could stick your head in the back of those. They are huge. But let's come through and take a quick glimpse at the interior of the car. But remember, this is still prototype concept stage. But you give a press of the button, and it pops open and upwards, attached by a hinge on the roof. and then you're greeted by something incredibly futuristic. Obviously concept stage, but completely minimalistic. Barely anything in there that you need. A steering wheel that doesn't look like what you're familiar with from a steering wheel. A carbon shell for the seat that's right down towards the floor, almost flat on the floor, and then a large digital display for all the information you could require dead ahead of you. But other than that, spacious, easy to look around, and just generally plenty of room inside. So let's close it back down gently. There we go, the door is closed. My goodness me. So what do you think, guys? The Devel 16, 5,000 horsepower. Can it be done? What's it going to be like when that really is built? But let's move on for the moment away from the Devel 16 to go and take a better look at the off-roader, the Devel 60. So, this car that we're looking at, the six-wheeler with portal axles, independent suspension, so it can actually lower itself down in theory so it can fit into garages. It looks, like I said, like something out of RoboCop with the way the front windscreen works across there. The door for passengers is very aircraft-like. It's actually on the other side, but it opens up like a private jet and lowers the sort of steps out and down to make it possible to get in it. The car can be made from carbon or from fiberglass. It has, I think it's a 6.7 litre turbocharged diesel V8 for 720 horsepower and 1,000 Newton meters of torque. It kind of rivals the Mercedes 6x6. That size and weight, that feel. I can't imagine what it would be like on the inside when it's completely built. The lights are crazy as well. Could you imagine blasting across dunes or somewhere crazy in something like that thing? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know, it's really cool if it pulls off and it comes together. And then I'm going to move a little bit back towards this car, the original prototype of the Devel 16, the car that featured in a video that managed to receive that many views. Now, you guys have all asked about due to a number of things. You know, it was a prototype, it wasn't necessarily 100% complete. But one thing that's quite funny is the comments that came up referencing that it looked a little bit like a Lamborghini Veneno. But the funny thing about that is this was actually built before the Veneno was announced. So it's completely coincidental that that actually happened. However, I do remember walking around this for the first time and thinking that this is, I mean, just crazy, just absolutely crazy. And it was over in that far corner where the Brabus stand is now. Even now when you do walk around it, it's very high, it sits very tall, stupidly long, crazy long, hard to describe, but I suppose you can see the SUV behind that looks rather small in comparison. But hey, not a bad effort for a first crack, and it was cool to, I don't know, be part of that story and see the car when it surfaced here. But now that's moved on to new projects, the 60, and then the final, or the latest prototype of the Devel 16. I mean, could you imagine one of these on the road? Could you imagine seeing that on the road, just driving away from you or coming towards you? I don't really know what you would think of it. Anyway, the guys have been really nice, great to chat to, and their drive and determination to make this happen is really quite incredible and great to see and hear about. So best of luck to them with it. I am interested to know what you guys think. 5,000 horsepower. Would you have it? Can it be done? If you go for that, you have a race sequential gearbox. If you go for 2,000 horsepower, you can have the 7-speed double clutch. I'm just mesmerized walking around it and taking it in and looking at this thing, and yes, pondering. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and look at the Devel 16 and the Devel 60 in the latest state here in Dubai. Starting price for one of these, $1.6 million. Well, let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. But I'm going to wrap this one off there. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. That is it for this time. I'm going to catch up with you again very soon. So make sure you subscribe, check out all the latest videos, click the bell for the latest notifications and everything as they get uploaded. And a big thanks to the guys from Devel for letting me come along and shoot this video. Anyway, thanks again, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.